So about 10 to 14 times a week, I get an email or somebody stops me in the street, literally, and say, Gary, you always talk about working so much, the hustle, all the hours you need to put in. Well, hey man, I know working hard is great, but I work smart. That's why I'm gonna win just as much. And I always say to them, why not both? Why not working smart all the time and hustling? Because the people that really crush are doing that. You know, you're working smart and hard. Why not both? A couple days ago, I started talking about the fact that I'm tripling down on content, and there was a Forbes article written about this whole situation. Now, it got a little bit taken out of hand of like somebody following me around literally 24 hours a day. I wish it was that cool. Steve, you know, you don't have to follow me 24 hours a day. You good with that?
It's okay.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, I am tripling down on content, and that's because the reason I have to work with somebody like Awesome Steve over here is because I'm not good at running down my thoughts or recording my thoughts. And so getting a call at the end of the day and recapping was there any good content is a really important thing to me. I do think content is a barrier of entry. And Scott Monty wrote a great piece on his blog kind of talking about this idea of me having 24 hours a day and like how this was terrible. And he's right. I think I did a poor job communicating to Dory at Forbes about what I was actually doing. But that's not the interesting thing. That's not why I'm making a video. I'm making a video of why not both? Why not work hard and smart equaling huge results? And why not, if you look at Scott's blog post, which is really smart, where he says, wait a minute, this is the worst thing ever. I love Gary, but this is a bad idea because what the world definitely doesn't need is more content. What we need is quality, not quantity. He is 100% right, but there's two problems. Number one, nobody's gonna care. Here's what I mean. Quantity is coming, my friends. Last year, 380 billion pictures were taken, and that is 10% of all the pictures taken ever. Think about that for a second. So quantity's coming, whether Scott or I or anybody else, and more importantly, who's the definer of quality? For example, I don't want any cat videos. I hate cats. That's right, you heard it. I dislike them, not into them, though the internet loves cats. And so we all have different views on what quality is, but that's not even the conversation. The conversation is this. I am devastated that so many of the things that I've wanted to communicate to my community or things that I wanted to interact with pass in my head and escape at the end of the day. I'm devastated that one of the people, by the way, here's a little side note, the conversation, if you go to Scott Monty's blog, which I'll link up right here, between me, CC Chapman, and Scott Monty shows the real power of Twitter, and really is a whole nother video in itself, which is we need to start respecting and communicating with each other instead of just flaming it out. I mean, the conversation there really recaps why I think Twitter is incredible. But being a little less ADD, jumping back into my point, why not both? Quality and quantity. Nobody would complain if Michael Jordan, I hate him with all my heart, nobody would have complained if he played another couple seasons in his prime. Nobody would have complained if the Beatles put out a couple more albums. I think there's a really healthy debate of why not both? Quality and quantity. The quantity is going to happen, but there's a ton of quality being left every day because of unorganized people like myself that just let it go by, don't write it down, don't record it when they feel it. And I have putting infrastructure around those kind of organizations and people is gonna be an interesting debate, and I do think that that's what's gonna happen. And so I'd love to see your thoughts on this. I think it's a really interesting time for content. There definitely is way too much crap, but I do think that a lot of people are leaving greatness on the table.